Why Russia must win this war in Ukraine. This is not the first time Russia has had to face Western aggression. The West, and more specifically, the liberal order, also known as the Anglo-American Empire, has always been the enemy of Russia. Any alliances they formed were out of convenience or necessity when confronting a common enemy. But when all else is removed from the equation, the liberal order has always been hostile to Moscow. Now, why is this? There are several factors here. Up until the 19th century, Russia was regarded by most as part of Europe. However, this view changed by the mid-20th century, when it became clear that Russia was in fact a separate civilization, albeit descended from the same classical Greco-Roman civilization that the West had come from, resulting in two divergent civilizations which for over 1,000 years had developed into their own traditions. The fundamental difference between Russia and the West is how the state is viewed. The former sees the state and society as one, while the latter sees society as the foundation of a civilization which can exist without a state. The state is the crowning of a society, but not essential. This was the basis for Western liberal thought, such as individuals protected by rights under the law, and not by privilege enacted through power. Russia was formed from three original sources: Byzantine, Viking, and Slavic, with Orthodox Christianity as the basis of its tradition, originating in Byzantium and adopted by the Russian ruling class, who then imposed it onto the general population. Unlike the West, which has a strong tradition in materialism and the idea of personal liberty, free from autocratic rulers, especially since the Enlightenment, Russia retained the style of autocracy they had inherited from Byzantium and remained under an absolute monarch until the 20th century. So-called Western values, such as democracy and liberal capitalism, have never successfully taken root in Russia, putting them at odds with the West. In short, Western powers have never been able to conquer Russia or subjugate its peoples, something they insist on doing everywhere they go, from Africa to India. Since the Russian tradition is so different to that of the West, it is impossible for the two to merge into one, or to form any kind of alliance based on mutual understandings and a compatible system of governance. They are diametrically opposed. In Russia, it is the state that holds power over all aspects of society, including private enterprise, whereas in the West, it is private enterprise that controls the state by a small number of plutocratic elites who hide behind the veil of democracy, giving the general population the illusion they are being governed by consent, and thus giving themselves total freedom to operate with impunity and no restrictions that would otherwise be imposed on them by the state.